Today's #1 most urgent vulnerability on the ranked list is CVE 2026-39808 in Fortinet FortiSandbox. And this one earns the top slot because it combines 3 signals defenders should not ignore: a 9.8 critical CVSS score, a CISA known exploited vulnerabilities listing, and an EPSS percentile of 0.99666. This is the Daily Ranked CVE Brief, What to Patch First, ranked by Real Exploitation Signal, CISA KEV, First EPSS, and CVSS every day. The short version: FortiSandbox has an OS command injection flaw that may allow an attacker to execute unauthorized code or commands. If this product sits in your environment, especially in a reachable management or service path, this is not a wait-and-see item. CVE 2026-39808 affects Fortinet FortiSandbox. The official NVD description calls it an improper neutralization of special elements used in an OS command. In other words, OS command injection. The assigned weakness is CWE78. In plain English, that means software takes some input, builds or triggers an operating system command, and fails to safely handle characters or values that can change what command actually runs. Security products often process complex files, metadata, URLs, and analysis inputs, so command boundaries matter a lot. When those boundaries are not enforced correctly, data can become instructions. The NVD description says the issue may allow an attacker to execute unauthorized code or commands. Verdict: this is a remotely reachable, unauthenticated, high-impact bug, which is exactly why it lands at 9.8 critical. The 2 CVSS details that matter most are reachability and consequence. First, the vector is network-based, with low attack complexity, no privileges required, and no user interaction required. That means the scoring model does not assume an attacker needs a local foothold, a valid account, or someone to click a prompt. Second, the impact is high across confidentiality, integrity, and availability. In practical terms, command execution can threaten data exposure, system tampering, and service disruption. We are not reciting the entire vector because the takeaway is simple: easy path in the model, severe outcome if successful. The most important context is not just the CVSS score. It is the exploitation signal. CVE 2026-39808 is listed in CISA's Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog. That means this is not merely a theoretical design problem sitting in a database. It has crossed into the known exploited category. The EPSS percentile is also extremely high at 0.99666, placing it near the top of vulnerabilities by predicted exploitation likelihood. For defenders, KEV plus a high EPSS percentile changes prioritization. You do not need to prove your own environment is being targeted before acting. The smarter assumption is that exposed or reachable instances deserve immediate validation, remediation, and monitoring. At a conceptual level, command injection attacks work when attacker-controlled input reaches code that invokes operating system commands. The dangerous moment is the handoff. The application expects a normal value, but the operating system command layer interprets part of that value as something more powerful. The NVD entry leaves the specific attack vector as a placeholder, so we should not invent the exact request, field, file type, or workflow. Defensively, the key question is whether any FortiSandbox component in your environment accepts input from untrusted networks, semi-trusted users, automated submissions, integrated systems, or upstream security tooling. If that input can reach the vulnerable command handling path, exposure may exist, even if the appliance is not directly internet-facing. Start with asset inventory. Find every FortiSandbox instance, production, lab, disaster recovery, appliances managed by another team, and anything sitting behind security gateways. Then confirm the running software version from your approved management process. The NVD description states that FortiSandbox 4.4.0 through 4.4.8 are affected. Still, use Fortinet's advisory as the source of truth for exact affected builds, fixed releases, and any special conditions, because vendor advisories can include details that vulnerability summaries do not. Also check reachability. Is the management plane exposed? Are submission or analysis interfaces reachable from broad internal networks? Are integrations feeding content automatically? Exposure is not only internet-facing, internal reachability matters too. The first action is to follow Fortinet's official remediation guidance for CVE 2026-39808. patch or upgrade according to the vendor advisory, and verify the fix actually landed on every instance. Until remediation is complete, reduce reachable attack surface, limit administrative and service access to trusted networks, enforce strong access controls, and review which systems can submit content or interact with FortiSandbox. If the appliance supports segmentation in your environment, keep management paths separated from general user networks. Review third-party integrations so automated data flows are not broader than necessary. Finally, document the exception if any instance cannot be fixed immediately, assign an owner, and increase monitoring around that asset until it is remediated. For detection, focus on behavior that should be unusual for the appliance in your environment. Watch for unexpected process execution patterns, especially processes spawned by services that normally should not launch operating system commands beyond known baselines. Monitor for unusual outbound connections, sudden DNS lookups, unexpected file writes, configuration changes, crashes, or restarts around FortiSandbox activity. Review authentication and administrative logs for odd timing, new accounts, changed permissions, or access from unfamiliar sources. Also look at upstream devices. Firewalls, proxies, and SIEM telemetry may show connections to the appliance from systems that normally never interact with it. The goal is not to search for a single magic indicator. It is to compare current behavior against what FortiSandbox normally does in your environment. Bottom line, CVE 2026-39808 is today's #1 ranked vulnerability because the signals align. It is a Fortinet FortiSandbox OS command injection issue, mapped to CWE78, scored 9.8 critical, listed in CISA KEV, and sitting at an EPSS percentile of 0.99666. That combination says act now. Identify affected FortiSandbox instances, confirm versions against Fortinet's advisory, apply the vendor remediation, restrict reachable paths, and monitor for suspicious behavior. This is the Daily Ranked CVE Brief. What to patch first, ranked by real exploitation signal every day. Subscribe if you want the daily prioritization without the noise, and check the full ranked report linked in the description.